I'm here to do a top 5 version of Top 10 Tuesday just because this prompt I could not think of 10 books. So I'm going to do 5, but they will be explained on my blog. The theme this week is books that you can't believe that you read. And I don't have a lot of these, so I made it fit my needs. And I said books I can't believe that I finished. I don't know if I talked about this on my channel. I think I might have a few times. Is that I really have a hard time DNFing books. DNFing books is like you don't finish them. I have a super hard time doing this. I think I've DNF'd maybe 2 books that I can recall off the top of my head. And I still might one day go back and read them. But these are books that I literally can't believe that I finished because I really did not enjoy them. But I also felt obligated. Either I felt obligated or I just had to know what happened. So these are the top 5 books that I can't believe that I finished or can't believe that I read. No shock to anyone, and it is Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. The fact that I am more of a Jacob and Bella shipper, and I've always has been. I always liked their relationship a little bit better. But I literally can't believe I finished this book because they destroyed Jacob's character in Breaking Dawn. Anything that they did to Jacob's character, I really hated, and I was not a fan of at all. I've talked about this before. Stephanie Meyer's world building is, to me, is always has come across as like super weak. So I really never enjoyed it, but I really had a struggle to get through this book. And anything that happened in this book, I was like, oh my god, why am I still reading this? But again, I'm a completist, so I have to know what happens. But the choices she made with Jacob's character, especially the end of the book, which she did with Jacob and Resme, really, really bothered me. And I still just have so many thoughts and so many issues with this book. But this is definitely one of the top books that I can't believe I read. I can't believe I still read this series, but again, everyone was reading it. It was like a phenomenon. But also that I wound up finishing Breaking Dawn because I really just did not like it at all. And I will never read that series again. I've never actually seen the movies. I think I've seen the first movie and the last movie just because I had a free day at the movies. But yeah, I just was not. The world building, the character growth, everything just was not my cup of tea. So I can't believe I finished Breaking Dawn, guys. Sorry if you guys like it. Again, all these opinions are my own. I hope that they don't offend anyone, but I just wanted to say that. The book that I have never heard anyone else talk about, but it was a Book Hype Book Club pick of the month a couple of years ago, and it was We Were Animals by Joshua Gaylord. It's a Hypable themed podcast, which is all about books. I think they're on a small hiatus. Hopefully they come back soon because I really do like that podcast. I love Karen and Brittany and Kristen. They're awesome. But this was a while ago, and they occasionally do like book reviews where they have like all the hosts talk about a book, and normally they pick the best books. I found some of my favorite books through that podcast, but this book was not one of my favorites, and I really had a struggle to read it. I got it out from the library, and I think it took me 2.5 weeks to read this book, and I really just struggled. I did not like the character. I did not like the premise. I thought there was a lot of unnecessary sexual content that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I really struggled to get through this book. I would have DNF'd it, but I wanted to finish it to listen to the episode. And again, I'm a completist, so it's really, really hard for me to DNF stuff. But yeah, this book was just not my cup of tea. And I'm not going to talk about this book in here, but another one that I thought of right now is We Knew It Was You by Maggie Thrash, which is the first book in the Strange Truth series. That again had a lot of unnecessary sexual content and a lot of just unnecessarily content I didn't like. So maybe that is another theme about these books. They just have content that I'm not always the biggest fan of, that I didn't think was super necessary. But those are my reasons why I did not like We Were Animals by Joshua Gaylord. That is a book that I got my first year that I went to Comic-Con, and it is Mr. Fahrenheit. Up from either Epic Reads. I think it was Epic Reads. I can't recall. It was a while ago. This was going on 3 years ago. And it was a science fiction alien novel. And for some reason, I don't know, the story just did not capture me. And it was led by a male lead, which I normally really like because you don't get that a lot. But the writing style really I struggled to connect with, and I think that that's why I had such a hard time reading it. I just did not find anything fascinating about it to keep me reading, and I was not invested in either the characters or the storyline. So it did not impress me, it did not wow me. I did finish it, but it's a good book that I really can't tell you much about. This would have been a good book for my forgettable book thing because I don't remember the plot about it at all. I know there was a science fiction, there was alien, and something crashed. And there was 3 characters. That's all that I remember. But it just did not make an impression. In the writing, I remember struggling to read. But I read it and I wanted to review it because I got an advanced reader copy. But I just remember not being wowed by it and not being impressed by it. So that's another book to add to the list. Let me know if you actually ever read it and if you liked it. Because I really have not found many people that have read it or even liked it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments if you wound up reading it. A duo, because they're both by the same author and they both have very unlikable narrators, but that is Madness So Discreet and This Darkest Mind by Mindy McGinnis. Like a Madness So Discreet more. It was an Owl Crate book, but she tends to write, Mindy McGinnis tends to write very unlikable narrators, and I really have a hard problem getting through those books. So I did like Madness So Discreet a little bit more, and I did actually want to finish that book because I was at least intrigued by the mystery and who the murderer was. But that was a book that I just struggled with. It just wasn't my cup of tea, and I wasn't a big fan of her writing style in that. But This Darkest Mind, I really did not like. And I remember I was listening to Corey on the Owl Crate Society talk about it, and she really didn't like it, but Karina did. So what I've heard, this is a very, very like divisive book. Either you like it, you love it, or you hate it. And I really fell into the latter category. I was not invested with the plot at all. I really did not like the main character. I would say close to, I strongly disliked her, and I didn't like any of the choices that she was making. And the plot was weird. So, like, it just was not. I kept expecting a fantasy sci-fi twist, and I just never got there. So it was supposed to be realistic, but it was like a weird realistic. So I really just struggled with this book a lot. I did like A Madness So Discreet a teensy bit more, but that's why I just grouped them together because they both have super unlikable narrators. But if you had to choose, I would definitely read Madness So Discreet, and I just would not recommend This Darkest Mind. But it is a very, very divisive book, so maybe give it a shot and see if you like it. I just know I was in the latter on that category. Next up is an adult novel, which I don't read a lot of, but I do read a lot of adult mysteries. This one I was super excited about as well, and I know that they recently made it into a TV series, but it is Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. Pride and Prejudice. It's one of the few Jane Austen's books I've ever actually read, and I really did enjoy it. So I was actually super excited to read a mystery in that world with those characters, but it just was not. Like, I struggled to finish this book. And normally with mysteries, there's like a driving force behind me and I really need to finish, but I did not like the writing style. I thought the characters were not representative of how they were represented in Pride and Prejudice, and it was just really a lackluster read for me. It's kind of the same thing I had with The Cursed Child, that the play that I'm going to go see in May. I felt like the characters were not connected back to the characters that were from the source material, and they made choices that I don't think that those characters would have made. I just was not impressed by it. So I would not recommend this, but I know that there's a TV series and I don't know if they followed the plot like exactly. But those are just some of the books that I can't believe I read or can't believe I finish because I have such a hard time DNFing books. But let me know in the comments what are some books that you can't believe that you read. There are books that I will never read, and maybe if you guys want like me to do a video about that, comment below and I'll actually do that video. It hasn't been on any of my top 10 Tuesdays, but maybe it will be one day. But if you guys actually want that video, comment below and I will add it to my upload schedule. I have been giving you guys a lot of content, and I've been trying to give you guys like at least one video or 3 or 4 videos a week. This week, you guys will have a couple more videos because it's wrap-up week as well. But I hope you guys are having a great day. And let me know in the comments what are some of your videos or some of your books that you can't believe that you read. And also stay tuned. I have a giveaway coming up on Friday, and I want you guys to all enter. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.